Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio.
Production.
7 Mile Radio.
What up, though?
Hey, Detroit.
Oh, goodness.
Hi, Sheeta.
Hi, Shay.
How are you?
Hi, Emmett out there. Our other co-host.
Yes. Hi, Emmett. Hi, Mark.
What's going on?
What up, though, Mark?
What's happening?
What's happening there? Sorry,
We all
y'all.
getting adjusted because we're used to streaming on Facebook, and now Facebook is doing some kind of weird updating. You know what I'm saying? So we're here with all of you on YouTube exclusively tonight.
Yes, YouTube. Yes, it feels weird addressing YouTube instead of like Facebook streaming
Well,
live.
actually, we should be addressing them both because we simultaneously broadcast on them both. You know what I mean? So yeah.
So we're actually broadcasting right now for
Yeah, we are. Yes.
7 Mile Radio.
Fix that
Oh.
light. I was wondering, I'm like, it's giving raccoon eyes to me.
Yes, look at Rashida. Fan in the room.
I'm gonna need to make
She's like,
sure
I know what
that
I'm
it's a
doing.
light on me. Shine your light on.
Yes, yes. Okay, so let me make sure that I understand this. So should we see this pop up on 7 Mile Radio on Facebook, or is this like strictly?
It's strictly on YouTube right now. Yeah.
Strictly
Yeah,
on you.
YouTube.
Okay. All right. So yeah,
You can share it on Facebook.
I
of course.
did. I shared it. Okay. Yeah. Facebook, YouTube. What up, though? Just getting an understanding because it is some technical stuff going on with Facebook. So as we know, technology does tech.
Mm-hmm.
Knowledge does what it does. All right.
Technology ain't so knowledgy.
Yeah, it ain't
Exactly.
so
There you
knowledgy.
go.
The tech ain't teching. All right, y'all. Yeah, tonight's episode is called Injustice in Mississippi. There's a lot going on in Mississippi. I took the last 2 weeks or so to kind of just like look around and see what was going on in Jackson. It's a lot. I had no idea they had like a water crisis and stuff down there. They're really like going through it. I just was really blown away at the things that are happening. But what really caught my eye is, I'm not sure if y'all saw on Instagram, is where I went from it with Attorney Crump, is about Dexter Wade and Mario Moore, two men in Mississippi, and I believe it's in Hinds County, who were buried in a popper's field without their family knowing. So first I'll get into our first victim here. His name is Dexter Wade, and he was 37. He was hit by an off-duty officer in a police cruiser on March 5th. His mother reported him missing on March 14th, 2023. And even with reporting her son missing, she was still unnotified by police that her son had been killed and buried. It wasn't until a reporter by the name of Mike Hixenbaugh, a senior investigative reporter for NBC, started to investigate her son's disappearance, only for them to find almost 8 months later that her son had been buried in a popper's field in July after authorities buried him in a field. They claimed to have been unable to reach his next of kin. And after being exhumed, Dexter was found to have been buried with his ID, which is crazy. Because I'm trying to understand how y'all didn't know his next of kin and y'all had his whole identification card. Just
And mail.
and
both with addresses.
yeah, both of them had some form of ID. So of course, attorneys Ben Crump and Dennis Sweet are on the case, and both Crump and Sweet are calling on the Justice Department to investigate. The mayor of Jackson, his name is Chokwe Lumumba, expressed regret and says officers did not mean to cause the Wade family any harm. Just passive aggressiveness.
His name is what?
Chokwe Lumumba.
Is he of African descent or something?
Not that I know of, but I know his dad, I believe, was like a part of, I want to say, like some civil rights movement. He's a black man. Chokwe. Yep. Chokwe Lumumba is the former mayor of. Wait a minute. Chokwe Lumumba was an American attorney, activist, politician. So his son now is. Oh wow! And you learn shit every day. This man was born here. His dad was born here. Chokwe Lumumba was born in Detroit on August 2nd, 1947. And he died, of course, in Jackson, Mississippi on February 25th. But Chokwe Antar Lumumba is his son. He is 40 years old, and he's with the Democratic Party. He's been the mayor of Jackson since 2017. He's the 53rd mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, and he's the 7th consecutive African American to hold the position. He was elected in 2017. He's the one that said that he expresses regret, and he says the officers didn't mean to cause harm to the Wade family. But here's another icing on the cake here that makes me kind of question all of this whole thing about them not knowing next of kin. His mother, Betterstein, his mother's brother, whose name was George Robinson, he died in 2019 after a violent arrest by 3 Jackson police officers. They were later indicted, and they stated that the officers pulled him from his car, slammed his head onto the pavement, and was striking him multiple times in the rib and the chest. All 3 officers received a grand jury indictment for second-degree manslaughter in 2020, but 2 officers of the 3 later had their charges dismissed in a directed verdict. The 3rd officer was found guilty of culpable negligence and sentenced to only 5 years in prison in 2022. That's Dexter Wade's case. Now, before we get into the conversation, I got one more. Buried without notice. Mario Terrell Moore, who was 40 years old. He was beaten to death in February, and he was also buried in the same Papa's Field in July, just like Dexter Wade. And his family didn't find out until October. Now, it is alleged that a homicide detective went to his mother's home to tell them of his death and that he did have an ID on him. Now, how his family found out about him is Marquita Moore, which is his sister, received a text from her aunt on October 10th of a link to an article revealing that Jackson police have failed to notify the public about dozens of homicides this year. Marquita opened the link in curiosity. She scrolled the list of 24 homicide victims, and lo and behold, the second name on the list was her older brother's, Mario Terrell Moore, 40, killed on February 2nd, the article said. And of course, y'all know this was news to the family. Mario had been bludgeoned to death, wrapped in a tarp, and left on the street for months. His body was laying in the Hinds County morgue unclaimed. The family said that Mario was known to live a, pillow-to-post lifestyle. He had a 20-year drug habit, and, his feelings of guilt, they believed, kept him away from them. He felt like he was doing something wrong, so he didn't want to be a burden on anyone. But this is the reason why they didn't put out a missing report on him, because they he's gone for months at a time. But how they found out about him is on that list. But before they found the list, a man happened to be walking up Gunder Street. If you could show that picture, a man happened to be walking on Gunder Street in South Jackson, and he came across Mario's body wrapped in a blue tarp.
Jeez.
And he said that his face, when he observed the body, his face had skull fractures, his pockets were wet. He had envelopes in his pockets, which again is kind of puzzling to me is why can't the police identify these men? They just took them and basically what it seemed like threw them away. But Mario actually had envelopes of mail with his name on it in his pocket along with a debit card. The medical examiner said when she went to view the body and took a look at the body, he did have ID on him and mail on him. But what's even more interesting is that that caught my attention is that the Jackson Police Department does not have a policy on how they notify the family that a loved one was killed, or there's no policy in place. And it made me look at Detroit like, let me see what we got. If we have a notification directive, Jackson Police Department did not. How?
So let me lay something on y'all minds real quick, because in the beginning, with the case of what was the
Dexter Wade,
we were trying to determine like if the police had actually did what they did to him, right? Like we was questioning, like, damn, we don't, because they said, oh no, that was him, right?
Yeah, so Dexter Wade was crossing a 6-lane highway.
Okay, I'm getting confused. So this is the one that was found wrapped in a tarp.
No,
right?
Mario was found wrapped in a tarp.
Him, right, so this is the perfect example, right? So, in any situation where multiple people are killed in one spot by one person, is considered a mass murder, right? A mass killing, right? Versus when one person, or when we see a pattern of 2 or more similarities in a murder, we consider it a serial killer that's out there, right?
Yep. Fact.
This is it. This is the case in both of these is the case in this situation. So they would have been. It was either a mass murderer, you know what I'm saying, or a serial killer, and both of which there'll be a nationwide, statewide manhunt for a motherfucker.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
In none of these cases that was the case, right?
Yeah.
Why?
That's what I'm saying.
Because the fucking police did this.
Yeah, and
they're sweeping it under the rug.
And now they don't go into detail like that when it comes to.
And we just coincidentally have no policy in place.
Yeah, I mean,
for
and that's another problem. Like, why is there no protocol in place?
Because that's the loophole in which they
get rid of
bullshit through.
Yeah, and can get rid of bodies like it's nothing. And in the Dexter Wade case, though, where the off-duty police officer hit him in a police cruiser. And you know, when an accident happened, ambulance show up, tow truck show up, because I mean and I did read like the tow truck came and got the cruiser. I don't know if the ambulance showed up. That's the next thing. Did the ambulance even show up? Did was he dead?
Situations like this render the police to being mass murdering serial killers.
Yeah.
Are they not?
Yeah. Yeah, they are very much. They're people they're people with a badge. That's what I tell people, like when they be like, the police is, the police that protect us and what we'll do. Police are people too. There are good police. There are bad police. There are good people. There are bad people. These are just people in a uniform, in a power trip. They go through all kind of stuff. So why wouldn't a police officer be deemed bad? Oh, because he's wearing a badge? And that's not, like I'm saying, that's not to say every police officer is bad, but I'm just trying to understand it. There's a black police chief. There's a black mayor. There's the officer that hit Dexter Wade was a black man. He wasn't even a white man. He was a black officer that hit him, ran him over.
So here's the thing: you say not all police officers are bad too, and I feel that same way. But it's hard to say that when, imagine you have, let's put it into the contrast into another arena, right? We have a white family, and one person in the family is racist as hell. The rest of the family is not racist, but they don't check this racist person for being racist. Yeah. Like, are they wrong too, or are they okay with us?
Well, silence is compliance.
My whole point.
Silence is
so
compliance.
when we apply that to the police officers, the ones that are good, quote unquote, the ones that are not corrupt, you know that there are corrupt ones.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? In your precinct, in your division, in your unit, in your platoon, whatever you want to call it. So for you to not do something, and you are in the industry, you are in the business of upholding the law.
Yeah, I feel like it's a like an alliance kind of that they have
That
with
blue
each
wall,
other.
that's- we're talking about the blue wall.
Yep, exactly. It's that, you know what I'm saying, I have to hold up the brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of that's what we
Linda
run
say,
into.
I bet money his organs was gone. Now, that's a whole.
Oh
nother
yeah, we didn't
conversation.
even look at that. We didn't
That's a
even.
whole other
Yeah, we
conversation.
didn't even look at
What was his name?
Dexter Wade. I
I don't
don't
even
know
think
if
they
I
would've-
don't think they. I know that the
They
family
didn't
was
even put that
getting
part in the
a.
story.
Yeah, I know the family was getting another autopsy done, but I don't even know. You right?
'Cause, I mean, in the case of that young boy, I forget his name, that was wrapped up in the gym. In the gym.
Oh
man.
yeah, that was
And his
disheartening.
organs was gone.
Yeah.
They
They
found out he was
still-
stuck with newspaper.
Yeah, they're still investigating that too. They keep
what's
shutting down the
what's
family
to investigate? Because he didn't just roll himself in there. He didn't do that himself.
But
Because-
the thing about it, the footage from inside of the gym is so choppy and edited. It's
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
edited so they can't see in the
And
angle
also,
that the camera was.
How would his organs
Just
end up?
mysteriously
You know,
get
and someone stuffed him with newspaper. So
newspaper.
what's
Somebody
to not?
Somebody did that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So what's not to
What's-
know?
what's
What's
the-
so undetermined about?
well, they
Probably the who and the why.
Mm-hmm.
they said that the white boy that he was into it with, his father was FBI.
Oh well, there you have
His
it.
father was FBI down there, and they feel like he was involved. And I think that they did search the home or something. I think that he was put on leave. I don't know what's the prognosis of whatever that case is with him, but yeah, they did say that the white boy father was FBI. It's really sad. Black people in this country, like I say, it just on the just the whole like spectrum of just humanity as a whole, like it's mind blowing how fucked up we are.
Mm-hmm.
And in this country, in America, all the injustices that go on with black people. And I know we rampant and we raving too, like about Gaza. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a real harsh reality for them people. But some of the same shit is happening here. We may not have bombs dropped on us, but black people in this country.
Well, we have as well.
Yeah, I mean it's a different type of bomb
Right.
dropped on us too.
But I mean, if you want to talk about Tulsa, Oklahoma,
Yeah,
where
yep,
they
yep,
literally
yep,
dropped
yep.
bombs on
On that
our
yep.
whole community we had established.
Yep. And I was listening to Malcolm X earlier this week, and he was having a debate with I forgot what his name was. Really good debate. I posted it on my Facebook page, and the man was challenging him, kind of like on what is your vision for black people in this country. He was like, we either go back to our homeland, or we get a piece of this land. After all, it is our land. We get a piece of this land and we build on this. We have our own, and white people have their own. And I was thinking like, damn, that would never work in this time, because I was like, look what they did to Tulsa.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like now white people don't have a need necessarily for us. So y'all feel like that, then y'all dispose of our bodies. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then now it's like we can't even have our own. We can't. We showed that we was thriving in Tulsa. Y'all don't want us, but y'all want to control what we do. Y'all want to, like, it's so sinister to me. It's sinister. Let us just have our own. Y'all hate us. Some of y'all hate us, but let us just have our own.
It's their nature, though. That's the reason why they came about and are what they are in the world today.
Yeah.
It's their nature to do that.
It's sad. It's very sad. Honestly, with the way black people are treated in this country, I just wonder, like, why we don't do more. You know what I'm saying? Like, why we don't do more as a people. Like, for real, like, why we don't do more as a people. Like, are we afraid? I know,
So, y'all know,
just speaking for myself, I don't know.
Y'all know Dr. Kaba?
Mm-mm.
Dr. Kaba Kameen. He's up there with Dr. Umar, Dick Gregory, and all them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had that same question for him. You know what I mean? Like with all of the knowledge that we have now, all the awakening and you know, all of the pro-blackness and, you know, all of that we exhibit nowadays. What is it going to take for black people to get it together at the end of the day? We know what we need to do. We know the tools and all the institutions that, you know, that we lack in our community, that we need and whatnot. What is it going to take? He told me a story. He said, you know, I was talking to a guy, right? Or actually, he told me a story about two guys. There's two guys talking to each other. One of them had his dog was at his feet, and he was just yelping, crying and whatnot. Whole time the man talking to him, just still having a conversation and whatnot. So the guy who didn't have the dog, he told the other guy, he said, like, you hear your dog yelping down there, like, you know, you crying,
Right.
and shit, you want to help him?
Right.
And you know, oh, that's what it was. He was laying on the dog was laying on a nail,
Mm.
and he was you know, crying and whatnot. So dude said, you want to help your dog and shit? You know what I mean? You hear him crying down there,
Right.
And the dude said, well, when it hurt bad enough, he'd get up.
Oh.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, that's true, though.
And that's what he said. He said, for black people, when it hurt bad enough, we'll get up.
Yeah, I mean, that's
It
true,
don't
though.
hurt bad. It's enough. It's too many of us that's actually.
But how
content.
bad does it have to get for us to? I mean, we've seen it.
The bad part about it is-
Philando Castile, for me, was like Tamir Rice.
Emmett Till.
Emmett Till.
For some of us, you know, we've reached that point and beyond. But for others, you know, we are so disconnected and
Distracted.
distracted, desensitized. All
Yes.
of those words.
Yes.
In the middle of all of this, that we don't even realize or don't feel like we can actually do anything to make a difference.
That's what they want.
Putting
that's
us in a
what they
place to
want.
feel exactly like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what all of this do. You know what I'm saying? The desensitize. I said back in the days when the gory content began to pop up on Facebook. You know, all this murder. It was like, why the hell is they letting all of this stuff? And I said, you know what they're doing? They're desensitizing us,
Yep.
seeing this type of stuff.
Like, oh, this is another thing.
So when we start seeing it in real life, in person, on our streets,
Yep.
we won't be so shocked by it. We won't be
Absolutely.
running around like, because imagine if you know, the police brutality and all of that on the level that is happening right now in our faces was happening without us being weaned into it.
Right.
Like, we used to it now. We look at it like, oh damn, another one. Now to this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what, you know, they conditioned us to be comfortable with this shit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? There's too many of us that's complacent and, you know, okay with it, and then so dependent on it that, like, what do I do I can't disconnect from this system, because then what? What do I do? Where do I go?
Right, I
eat? Where
lose
do
the
I shop?
comfort
Where
of
do
my
I-
home.
Yeah, I
lose
lose
the comfort of my
convenience.
job. Yep, convenience.
Yeah, it's too much work. It's too much work.
And see, back then, our freedom fighters, though, that's why I feel like, oh my gosh, like, it's the time is, it's no greater time, because we actually have another lens on the shit. We actually got power.
It's no greater time because we have the resources
Man,
like never before.
like,
Right.
they didn't have that back then, but they was willing to put so much on the line. They died for this shit. They died for
And
this
we
shit.
here, and now
Niggas
we-
be like, now, like, shit, I ain't down for you,
We
niggas.
celebrating it. We celebrating the fact that shit is fucked up. We're celebrating the toxicity in the world. We're claiming toxicity. We're having a party. We partying now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a downward spiral, and we okay. We on a party to hell.
That's kind of like what Charleston Wright was saying in the interview with Cam Newton. He was, you know, he was like, when I was talking, you know, the way I was talking, he was like, it was like I had to get like nonsense. I had to get, you know, talk some
I couldn't
nonsense
deliver this.
shit.
I couldn't be like you with a suit and tie on both sides and deliver it on a
Yeah.
white collar corporate level. I had to talk like the niggas. I got to
Yeah.
be ignorant and talk like they talk.
But
I gotta
he was
stoop down,
saying
you
like
know?
exactly. He was like for y'all to even catch
Yeah.
what I'm saying. He was like, now I'm talking about eating booty holes and just being obnoxious. And while I got y'all attention, he was like, then that's when I could come in. He was like, that's a fucking shame. He was like, y'all worried about the wrong shit. Y'all worried about my delivery. Like, and it was like, y'all worried about how I'm delivering the truth when y'all got real shit happening around y'all and in front of y'all, you know. And it make me feel like, damn, y'all, like, we really on some bullshit. We really on some bullshit as a people. Like, we just gonna die out.
Oh yeah, Linda mentioned Jelani
How y'all
Day.
see the comments? Cause I'm not seeing that.
I am
YouTube.
on YouTube.
Yeah.
They
But
live?
Jelani Day was another one. His mom is also fighting like for his justice. that you brought that up because a lot of people may not be familiar with Jelani Day.
Let me see your phone.
Let me see. I just want I'll brief those who are listening and then we'll get back. But Jelani Day, 2 years ago, I believe it was 2 years ago today, a graduate student at Illinois State University disappeared and was later found in the Illinois River.
This is
The coroner said the cause of death was drowning, but he was
YouTube
beat.
app.
He was beat to death.
The YouTube app.
But just to go to show you the things that's happening here, it's so depressing. Like
It's depressing as hell.
these are type of conversations I just be like, oh and it be in your spirit for days to come. For me, I know for sure, but it's an important conversation to have, because in order for change to happen, we gotta have the uncomfortable conversation. We gotta bring awareness.
That's the problem. We, like I said, we're too complacent, too comfortable. You know what I'm saying? To go into an uncomfortable place is unheard of. We can't even have uncomfortable conversations. We can't even talk about what's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The things that we need to do, that's uncomfortable. We just want to hear what we want to hear.
Because this can very well be you. This can be a loved one. This can be your child.
Yeah.
And what would you do?
Reach out to the world for help.
Yeah, and that's the because social media has its pros and its cons. Like you talked about, desensitizing. Like you see what happened to Floyd. How that got. Oh my God, I had to decompress when that hit. But it was like we had raw footage of that. You know what I'm saying? Philando Castile, I think too with him, it didn't get no realer than him. Like being
Tamir
shot.
Rice.
Yeah.
Tamir Rice. All of them.
It also started too with
Brand.
Trayvon Martin. We didn't even know, we didn't see it, but just the fact that
We heard it because I was following that trial.
I was too, but he had no weapons. He just had candy and the Arizona tea. Like that was the beginning of this, and I just feel like it wasn't the beginning of this because this was happening back what happened with Emmett Till, but he had no weapon, and it's like things like that where you could stand in court and say, well, I don't know what he was willing to do to me or what he was going to do to me, but he had no weapon. And it's like, it's common sense, to me, I just feel like it's no way that you could have felt threatened, and you seen what he wasn't bothering you. You took it upon yourself to play cop. But I'm saying that and I'll get back to my topic when I was talking about the social media. Like, we do have this platform to be able to shed light on conversations that are not showing on the news, such as, these stories that's happening in Mississippi, because we don't see that type of stuff. We got, the war is getting big coverage right now. It's other parts of this.
And we're ignoring the same apartheid that's happening here in our own country, and that's the part that make me feel like, everybody be talking about vote, but it's like you vote and you're voting and I'm Democratic, I'm Republican, but what does it change? You know what I'm saying? Like what does it change? Like besides locally, I feel like it definitely matters. We have to get out and vote, but like federal, it just make you feel duped. When you constantly, I'm Democrat or I'm Republican, I'm voting for the lesser of the two evils. Like, and that's the thing that's on the showboat. But I'm not going to go there because that's like a whole rabbit hole. But back to our injustices in Mississippi. Rashida, you actually found
I did
2 people.
I did also in Mississippi, and starting with I think his name, I just put it up. It's just, I'm sorry about just the energy. This is just so depressing to talk about, but it's necessary. It just, my heart go out to these families, man, because I can't imagine if this was my children. But I just want to, or my loved one, period, but just give a brief synopsis on the demographic in this particular county in Mississippi, which is Rankin County.
Okay.
So according to Data USA, in 2021, there were 3.39 times more white non-Hispanic residents. 114,000 people in Rankin County, Mississippi, than other races or ethnicity. In this particular county, from what I was watching on YouTube, about how I don't like to refer as white and black because I feel like that's such a sensitive thing. I'm just gonna say the majority, so they call. Feels like blacks should be separated in this county. There should be no blacks in Rankin.
Oh.
That's how they feel. And that's what I heard on YouTube, and as I was researching this, and they were gonna do whatever they can to make sure that that's where they gonna be at, and blacks need to be where they're gonna be at.
I want to say something though, side note, but it relates to the conversation that we're having. You see how you felt offended to say white people, but then you said black people?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's them making us feel like we're doing something wrong.
Because they refer to us as the
Nigga.
blacks.
Yeah.
The black
The
people,
blacks.
the blacks. I mean, and they do. I mean, and why do we feel like that? Why
And now
do
we got to walk on eggshells. We feel like it's disrespectful to call them white.
And they call
But
us black.
they throw it out like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And that is not even the N word.
No,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
We didn't say cunt. We didn't call them cunts. We didn't say
Crackers, none of
rednecks,
that.
crackers.
It's white
calling
people.
them white. You know what I mean? But that's the natural by default respect and nurturing that we have as a people.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Versus them. The blacks. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? We like
for
that.
real.
You know.
And then if you notice, after they do some fucked up shit, we always be like, I forgive them. I forgive them. I forgive them.
Because again,
I forget. Like, why
that's,
did we?
That's our nature versus their nature, and that's the reason why we are where we are against them and with them, right?
That
Y'all
shit
know
is so
the story of the ice people and the sun people, right? And how they came and did what they did and took over everything, and because we were nurturing, we welcomed them in, and we taught them everything. You know what I mean? Because we felt bad for this raggedy motherfucker coming from the damn Caucasus Mountains that can't even wash his ass.
Yeah, and we just taught them.
And we just
Just
taught
like
them-
we care for their babies during the slavery, and we develop relationships with the babies. It's just sinister. It's sinister. It's,
I wanted to share just because I had two cases that happened in the same county in Mississippi, but
before you, and I'm sorry for cutting you off, I just, because I had to look this up, because again, Jackson as a whole, I just wanted to get a scope of what is considered the metropolitan area statistically. And I don't know if I'm saying this right, but it's Copia or something, Copiah, Hines County, Holmes, Madison, Rankin, Simpson, and Yazoo are all counties in Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson, Mississippi is 85% black.
right.
85% black people in the Jackson metro area. So I just wanted to add context
apparently
to that.
it's the capital of Jim Crow.
Oh yeah. The governor really don't give a goddamn about Jackson. That's why I was like, why is the homicidal and the murder statistics so high in Jackson? Well, here you go. And especially with the mind frame that you brought up, that there are white people in Mississippi that said we're doing everything we can to keep
Them where they at?
separation,
Yeah.
segregation.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Proceed. I just wanted to say.
It's okay. So Damian Cameron was 29 years old when he was killed in Mississippi. And just like a brief story behind him, but some authorities or officers were dispatched to his home in the town of Braxton, which is in Rankin, on July 26, 2021, in response to a report of vandalism. And Damian was known to have a history of mental issues. And was reportedly told that to the authorities that he was busting holes in the neighbor's house using a pipe after an argument. and two officers of the Goon Squad, which I'll discuss the Goon Squad and who they are in Rankin, were dispatched out to the property. And apparently, the deputy knelt on Cameron's back for 15-20 minutes while waiting backup officers. And Damien did say that he couldn't breathe. After deputies confined him in a patrol car, he was taken to his house, which I didn't understand why they took him home. Apparently, they said too he tried to flee, and then the brawl ended up in the room, and they were able to detain him. And his mom spoke some words to him, and he had told them, like, I cannot breathe. I can't breathe. And he was calling her name, that he couldn't breathe. And his mom did say, like, he had trouble standing. He collapsed a few times. But the EMS noticed that he could not, he was not breathing. So they rushed him to the hospital, and he was dead upon arrival. And his mom is still fighting that now to this day, because when coroners got the autopsy to his family and the police, it was deemed inconclusive or undetermined of death. So, and then the officers, they were still on duty after this. So now the bigger issue now is because those members so the Goon Squad is 6 police officers within the sheriff's or the police department in Rankin. And this is not the first incident that they have had police brutality situations. It has been,
most of the times it ain't.
Yeah, it has been numerous complaints regarding these 6 men. And
just keeping them on the force.
Exactly.
On the beat.
But now they're tied to 2 other black men in January 24th earlier in the year. 6 armed men. This is another incident. 6 armed intruders, which was the Goon Squad, broke into a house in Braxton, Mississippi, which is also a part of Rankin. Once inside, they found 2 black men, Eddie Terrell Parker and Michael Corey Jenkins. The intruders, which is the Goon Squad, brandished guns. Someone fired a shot into the wall of the home to intimidate Parker and Jenkins into submission. These men were tormented. They were handcuffed. They were beat. They were brutalized. They were yelled racial slurs. They were also threatened sodomy. They also had a dildo that was entered into one of the men's mouth during this torture. Also, too, they did a mock assassination on, I believe that was Mr. Michael Jenkins, where a shot accidentally went off and shattered his jaw. The bullet exited the neck.
So what they was, when you saying mock, that means like they was
like
acting
they were
made
acting
a
like
mistake.
they were acting like they
Jesus.
were going to assassinate him and shoot him in the mouth, and the gun went off. So this torture lasted for 2 hours.
I know that felt like
2
forever.
hours. So when that shot went off, they end up making these men strip, made them get in the shower to clean everything up, and left him in his puddle of blood.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
wow. So what came of their charges? Like,
So the men are in jail now. I believe that the 6 men are. I believe that they pled. They pled guilty. I don't know the one that actually pulled the trigger. I think he is undergoing a separate trial. On that, but they're behind bars. They're behind bars, and they're trying to. The 2 gentlemen are seeking a lawsuit, but we know how they're gonna have to fight tooth and nail for that.
you mean Eddie and
Yeah, Eddie and Michael. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Ben, I don't think Ben Crump. It's another.
yeah,
fellow, isn't it?
Shabazz. I think
Yeah.
his name is he's a I don't know. I think he's an attorney, but he's representing them just like he representing Mr. Miss Cameron
Yeah.
for Damien.
And I think if we think about just policing period, like, because you're used to just hearing, oh, it's white cops and black cops. It just appears to be more than just that. I think it's a whole policing issue, period. It doesn't matter if the officer is white or, you know what I'm saying, Spanish or whatever. They all have that mentality to, well, not all of them. Let me just take that off of that. Not all of them, but the officers that we have seen that are of different nationalities. I think that we've seen that this is a mindset thing when they go into the police forces, that they're learning this behavior. And I also think that they're not implementing ways for officers either to cope with stress, like, de-stressing methods when they come from out there, like what way, like how to check their anger, how to confront their anger. Like, I just think there should be a whole different kind of vetting system for police officers.
Yeah.
Because this is just really, I mean, it just even in the case of these men getting, being buried without their families knowing, like, who are you to bury someone? You know what I'm saying? Without their family even knowing. That's cruel.
Yeah, it is.
That is inhumane to do that. And I'm definitely looking for more than the mayor to say that these officers didn't mean to cause harm to the families. I'm definitely looking for more accountability than that.
But how can you say that? How can you say that? Well, because what's the intention? You say that these officers, that's not their intention, is to cause harm, but they did.
Yeah, and
Like, somebody ended up.
as the mayor, how are you saying that? As the mayor, I'm looking for you to say, I am looking to hold whatever officers that retrieved this body, that was working this case, if there was any work in this case, I am looking for whoever, whenever, however, who was.
Because he's an agent in the population control.
Yeah,
That's
and
going
that's
on.
that's right. That's right. Because the mayor is also a resident of Jackson. He's the mayor. Well, he might be he's the mayor of Jackson. So you should be looking to hold officers accountable. You dropping the ball. And that's just what's crazy about the powers that be. It is just, y'all be on the wrong side of the
And
shit.
that's what's his name?
The mayor.
Yeah.
I think it's Chokwe Lumumba.
Yeah, that's the African son. He got an African
Chokwe
name.
Lumumba.
Right. So, and I be feeling like,
He a resident. Why you wouldn't know that?
but I'm saying, but I be feeling like maybe his hands tied, because maybe, like, yeah, we put you in office, but it's very limited what you can
Is
do.
either tied or tied up in it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would hope not. I mean, he seemed like, but I mean, it ain't always.
He 34 years old.
Who? Yeah,
He
he's
34
40. He's 40.
Oh, okay. So this must be this is dated, but they say he's the youngest mayor in
Well, he
Jackson
probably was
history.
the youngest at age 34 when he got elected.
Yeah, when he was in 2017, I think he might have been 30. Yeah, yeah, so he probably was like 30 something when he was, brought in. I mean, he got his plate quite full. He got his plate full. He got the now he got this, and then for that to happen, for them to be buried on the same day. One news story after the next. I mean, at some point, even the police chief, at some point, like, it would be like, what are y'all niggas doing in here? We done had two
It's a pattern.
We done had two stories that hit live air about us dropping the ball on communicating with families about their loved ones.
So
Where are we going wrong?
they
what-
don't care.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's the problem. That is the problem. So then now it would make me feel like, as a resident of Hines or Rankin or what, all these other counties, the other counties, it would make me feel like, well, how I know y'all got my best interest at heart? How I know y'all here to really protect and serve if y'all could just dispose of my body? How is my family supposed to know that I'm missing or I'm dead? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it could have been in the same instance with Eddie and Michael. If those two men died in there, they probably would have just disposed of their bodies too. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are they able? How do y'all even have it in y'all minds? Like, this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna get away with it. That means that y'all have been doing this. Y'all have been picking bodies up, and
The citizens of that city of Jackson. What we talking about? Jackson, Mississippi?
and Jackson, Hines is where Dexter and Mario were the two victims that was buried without their family knowing.
That sounds like some shit they need to take to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, at the Supreme Court, because it make me one of those. They would have to get with their governor, which is whatever his name. His last name is Reeves, but he don't care about Jackson. Like, I remember when they called him in to talk about infrastructure and what he was doing about the water and stuff like that. He's sitting up there talking about it's never a good day or something like that to be in Jackson.
Okay, so now I'm just side I'm side eyeing you at this point, because I mean, what's really going on?
Because he really don't care. He take the federal funding. I think it's
What?
750 million.
Like, but where do you live? Mr. Lambamba?
Apparently
No,
not in
Lamumba is among the residents in Jackson.
But he's the mayor, right?
He's the mayor. I'm talking about the governor. It's like if Gretchen was to get federal funding, like let's say if our water was fucked up in Detroit, the federal give Gretchen federal funding, $750 million to go into our water system, okay? And Gretchen like, oh, I'm gonna take the money. Detroit ain't gonna see none of that shit. Fuck their water, fuck their trash, fuck all their community service, and I'm gonna hold on to this money. That is exactly what Reeves is doing to Jackson. That's exactly what Reeves is doing to Jackson. They have money sitting, and he won't give it. And they told Lamumba, you got to put in an application for us to come in and fix the water and the infrastructure in the city. He has done that. He has heard nothing back from fucking Reeves at all.
Tate Reeves is his name?
I think it's Tate Reeves.
Damn you, Tate Reeves.
Yeah, he don't care about the people of Jackson at all.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he don't care about it at all. Holding money from the people in Mississippi. And those people, and you know, and crime isn't just crime that's of an issue in Mississippi. It's that, like I said, their water crisis. Right now, they're looking at the trash pickup because they're out of the contract now in the cities for trash pickup. So they have one site that I read that people can go and take their trash, but you got to think about people. Some people don't have cars. You know, some people don't have access to that site to drop trash, so trash just sitting now.
Have you seen a picture of Tate Reeves?
I have. I'm looking at it
man,
now.
I was like, God damn, I can't believe he's 49. Didn't it say he's 49 or something? He's 49.
I've seen it.
You understand why Jackson is being done the way that they're doing.
Oh, I wanted them to see. So as I was explaining, first of all, Damian Cameras, because I did the picture to show you what he looked like and what happened before I would get up for that, because he in a red shirt. I wanted y'all just to see. I'm glad I thought about that, because I wanted y'all to see what they did to this young man. This is the one that was killed when the police were dispatched to the home.
Okay.
Oh, and also too, I'd like to say, they never found evidence of him punching holes in the wall either. They never found.
So they
holes.
just made that up.
Yeah, but the neighbor's sister called, which we know it was a
white woman.
The neighbor's sister called, saying that he was punching holes in the wall.
Wow.
There was never holes in the wall.
Look, he was a handsome man too.
29 years old. Wow. And then we also have a picture of Michael Jenkins and
Eddie
Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Michael is on the left. He was in the suit jacket. I think that's the one you uploaded.
Oh, that's Mike. I thought that was Eddie, but it's Michael from left to right.
Yeah. Michael, the one who was the one who was shot in the mouth, in the jaw, shattered his jaw.
Wow. You can pull up that picture.
Yep, the one in the black blazer was the one shot in the mouth.
Wow. Wow.
Very sad. Very sad. Yep, and they said what they want to come out of this is that no one else experienced what they experienced. Can you imagine having 6 officers rush your home and torture you for 2 hours? Torture you for 2 hours.
You don't even know what's going on.
Then they put the gun in your mouth, and the gun accidentally go off, and then you were left there, and you need medical attention because you bleeding out, and they searching you. So they trying to clean everything up. They put these men in the shower, strip them, put them in the shower to clean them up. Trying to cover everything up. Because why were you there with a dildo? What were you there? Why did you bring that?
Just
why are you
disgusting.
there? Talking about a drug raid. The whole purpose of them, they said, being there because of drug suspicion.
It's enough to leave you speechless, for real, because I can't imagine being in that predicament and not knowing if you're gonna, make it out alive or not. And these are people that's supposed to be in place to serve and protect you. And I mean, it goes to say that, we often talk about the gangs and, the blood and the Crip, but the most heinous gang is the American police departments. They're the most heinous, the most sadistic force, and then it's like when you see a good cop, and I've had encounters with good cops, I had encounters with bad cops, but when you see a good cop, it'd be like, damn, like you share a force with people that think like this, you share a force with people that do shit like this. I mean, and in any case, you don't know who walking up to you. When you pull over, you don't know if that's a good cop or a bad cop.
I like to read what Mr. Tate Reeves said about systemic racism in America.
Well, that's just
he said, per the Mississippi Free Press, apparently they have a Confederate Heritage Month. He proclaimed for the second year in a row, Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves made a bold declaration: there is not systemic racism in America.
What?
He said if it were true, could come as a relief to 38% of Mississippians who are black. But around 16% of those residents will not have the opportunity to express their gratitude to the governor in the next election because they are systemically disenfranchised due to an 1890 Jim Crow felony voting law. Really? The Cambridge Dictionary defines systemic racism as policies and practices that exist throughout a whole society or organization. So he basically saying racism don't exist. So that just goes to show you
how disconnected.
Exactly, and police brutality, that's why he's responding in the way that he's responding. Because he like this is not racist.
But who keep voting him in?
For him to say that racism doesn't exist is to say that people who are victims of racism all got what they deserve. That's basically what he's saying.
And you said, what's the demographic of Jackson, Mississippi?
Because black people, 85%.
So is it our own? Voting them in? I mean,
they that's what I'm saying. Like, who keep voting him in? Because that's what he's a Republican. So it makes you wonder, like, what's going on down there in Mississippi that if it's 85% black people and he's a Republican, who keep voting him the fuck in? But I'm looking at Mississippi governor election results 2023. His let's see, this is supposed to be live. So right now, he's winning by 51%. With 99% expected votes and an estimate 33,000 still pending. But he has 408,926 votes against his two candidates, which is Gwendolyn Gray, a black woman who's at 1.4%, and she only got 10,800 votes. And Brandon Presley is just under Tate Reeves with 373,118 at 47% votes. But Gwendolyn Gray, this is a black woman. This is interesting. This is really interesting. Again, it being 85% black people in Jackson, Mississippi. But I guess we have to just look at Mississippi as a whole. And it being the state that it is, I think it is probably numero uno for for white supremacy. I can see how Tate Reeves continues to win, but yeah, it looked like per county though, still Gwendolyn is still coming in the lowest in Mississippi. He's second to Brandon, who's at 59%. It's just interesting when you start to look at these, breaking it down county by county. But yeah, just wow, and just for this black woman to still be at the bottom with literally under 2% in votes is very telling about where they are in Mississippi with white supremacy and laws and how black people are treated. I know we're going to be wrapping up here in a minute. I just want to thank y'all for going to Mississippi with us. I know it was kind of like a heavy conversation tonight. Just wanted to shed light on what's going on in Mississippi, because I know our antennas are tuned in to a lot. There's a lot going on. Just want us to take a look at what's going on in our own backyard and with our own people. As I always say, injustice somewhere is an injustice everywhere, if I said that right, but it's so true. That could be us in Mississippi. I tell my husband all the time, he was wondering, we got our stuff going on here when you think about Gaza. And I was like, that could have been easily us being born into the other side of the world. We had literally no control of where we're born. That we could have been easily born in Mississippi. Mm-hmm. So I definitely appreciate y'all. And I want to continue to bring news like this, and so we'll know what's going on around us, and hopefully these conversations can spark a change, and give us the fuel to go and be like, hey, we want to do something about it. Because I know I want to do something about it. I get exhausted at the thought, at the doing part of it. But I feel like all of us in number, we could definitely make a change, and definitely, hold these governors and hold these politicians, hold them accountable. Especially for us black people, we need to amplify our voices. We need to be talking about it.
In the right way.
Yeah, stop popping our coochies under a camera taped to the wall. We need to be popping our shit. What? Yeah, popping our asses and our coochies with the new ceiling challenge. We need to be, you know what I'm saying? We need to be.
That's like putting that phone at the
on the ceiling. And
you taking too much time to do that.
Yeah, we need to be popping our shit. We need to be learning our laws.
Smoke detector beeping off the frame.
That's crazy. It's crazy. I'll just be like, literally, we literally catch on to some shit and it just be the wave. We need a whole new wave, y'all. We need to be a way that's gonna change our kids' future. Like, cause it ain't going nowhere for us like this. Like, we got to do something about this shit. We have to. This is the future. It's for the future of our kids. So, you know, I'm gonna continue to, you know, be coming to y'all with the shit that's going on and keeping us all informed as much as I can. So, I definitely thank y'all for joining us, Sheeta.
Well, in the words of Malcolm X, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything.
What a word. What a word. I'm going to tap into the chat before we go a little bit. I'm going to shout out Linda Anderson for joining us tonight and engaging with us tonight. She says she got to get ready for work, 5 a.m. Have a great morning at work. Get you some rest, Linda. Thank you.
And to all the viewers watching too.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in. I know my friend Sean has sent me something too. And I wasn't able to tap in on it. But it's regarding it looks like a shooting in Decatur. The shooting of Stephen Perkins. I definitely want to dive into that. We might have to do a part 2. You know, of this next week, so we can include that, so we can dive into his story. But if you guys don't, you know, you guys don't know about that, look up Stephen Parker. That's in Decatur.
Okay.
As you guys see, it's stuff that I didn't even know anything about that, but it's things happening that we don't even know. So we gotta
probably what happened today that we just ain't made
man,
the news
you
yet.
understand?
Yep.
And it probably won't make the news. That's the sad part. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's people probably fighting.
It's many of them that's happened that didn't make the news.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But see, that's why we got
what we do.
like right, but we got you too, because I do have
Yeah.
to commend you. Like I said, I give you your flowers every single time, Mark, because the things that are reported on the news is not really what's going on in the inner city. And you go out there and you take a risk. You know what I'm saying? I see you be out at 2 a.m. You know what I'm saying? And you be telling
For
people, check
real.
on your people, because it's an accident. You know what I'm saying? And the accident that you posted, I remember off the lodge, I believe it was, that shit was bad. You know what I'm saying? But you was on the scene. You was right there. You know, so just, you know, we thank you for, you know, your dedication to the community and what you do for the community to keep us abreast of these situations that's happening. You know, and I feel like we all should be like that. We all should be an eye for one another. You know,
I think it's, and I'm not gonna hold it, but I think it's so cool to
go
be
on and
able to-
hold it. I'm just kidding.
I think it's so cool to have, like, you know, real conversations about things we experience, and it's fun and stuff like that to have, and it's interesting, it's engaging. But I also remember, we have to remember too that this is also a platform to inform our people and to give our people light and, you know, give our people fuel to do even bigger work. You know what I'm saying? We got work to do. Like, this is our own black-owned media outlet. Like, and especially now with the news being tainted the way that it is, you are looking for sources that report real news.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Unfiltered.
unfiltered news, and we need that in a dying journalistic way.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thank you guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're glad you tuned in, and we're out. Peace.
Peace.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio.